wa soka nchini Kenya. Unaweza zungumza nasi kwenye mitandao ya kijamii, hashtag ni FKFDebate 2024, na tutakuwa tunapitia 2-3 ya jumbe kadri tunavyoendelea na mdahalo wa leo. Bila ya kupoteza muda, ni wananchi na wadau wa soka ambao mdahalo huu unawahusu kwa kiasi kikubwa sana. Ni wakaribishe nyote ambao mko hapa na wengine ambao mko nyumbani mnafuatilia moja kwa moja. Kwa mtu ambaye ana swali lolote kwa pengine mhusika mwaniaji wa kiti cha urais katika uchaguzi wa FKF unaokuja, atanyosha mkono. Tutachagua watu watatu ambao watauliza maswali, alafu nitakuwa nasaidiwa na wenzangu Robinson Okenye kutoka KTN pamoja na Daniel Wahome kutoka KBC, ili kuwapatia fursa wagombeaji kiti cha urais katika uchaguzi wa FKF ili kuzungumza na Wakenya kuhusiana na maazimio yao. Kwa hiyo mtu ambaye ana swali, tafadhali anyoshe mkono, ajitambulishe, na kama ana swali lolote moja kwa moja aulize swali lake. Uwanja ni wenu. Tafadhali.
Thank you very much, Abdullah Ahmed. We will be coming back to the audience as this is the town hall. My name is Daniel Wahome, and on my left is Robinson Okenye of KTN. We shall be co-moderating this. And at this point, I'd like to introduce the presidential candidates who have showed up for this town hall. And to make it clear is that every presidential candidate and their running mate had been given an invitation to attend this event, and the 6 gentlemen who are here confirmed their attendance, and those are the ones who are going to be answering the questions that are coming from the audience that is seated behind me. And I'm going to introduce them, and I will start on my left. We have got Hussein Mohammed. Welcome, Mr. Mohammed. We've got Tom Alila. Welcome, Tom Alila. We also have got Barry Otieno. Welcome. We've got Sammyowinokempes. We also have got Sam Ochola, and we have got Mr. Cleophas Shimanyula. And I will, at this moment, let each one of you introduce yourselves. I'm going to give you about 1.5 minutes each. And the question that I want all of you to answer is, why you for FKF president? We'll start with you, Mr. Mohammed.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is truly a pleasure to be here with you today and to have this opportunity to articulate our manifesto and to articulate our position in terms of how we want to run our football moving forward. My name is Hussein Mohammed, born and raised in Nairobi. I'm a football administrator over the last 20 years. The most popular brand that we've built over those years is a product called Super 8 League, which is a product of Extreme Sports. I'm also the vice chair of KPL side Moranga Seal. Today I'm here to explain to you and to express myself about my passion for football, but most importantly, how we are going to salvage this sport from the doldrums, how we are going to pull it out of the gutter. And I think my manifesto will revolve around 3 key pillars. Number 1, the past. Number 2, the present. Number 3, the future. What we need to do for our football so that we can save the next generation.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. On to you, Mr. Alila.
Yeah, my name is Tom Alila. I was first elected as a NEC member in 2011. And my vision is to bring in hygiene in football in this country, which has been lacking. And also to, I'm a strong believer that I'm going to, when elected, I will vary the FKF constitution to change a lot of things that has been going on in football. You know, we are elected by 92 people. So we need to vary all this so that we bring in the schools. We need to bring in the secondary schools, and also to bring in governance. Football in this country, the only problem that it lacks is proper governance. There's nothing more else. You need to have somebody that can be able to bring in governance and bring in stability in football management in this country, and I'm the right person.
Yes, Barry, why you?
Thank you, Robinson. I think first of all is to say thank you to the organizers of this event. It gives us a platform to come and share what we can offer Kenyan football. As you rightfully said, my name is Barry Otieno. I was born in a small slum in Huruma State. Started playing football at the age of 7. In 2016, appointed head of communications at FKF. 2017, head of communication and marketing. 2019, I was made CEO of FKF. I have a degree in communications, marketing, public relations. I also have a diploma from Cape Town University, done by CAF Professional Management. And we have 4 pillars that we believe need to be worked on in Kenyan football. So 1 is the empowerment and capacity building of our people. 2 is to provide a clear pathway for our youth. 3 is to professionalize the management of our leagues. And 4 is to engage more the clubs in the professionalization of these leagues and FKF competitions.
Yes, gentlemen, before we continue, there are some house rules. Please, let's maintain, you have 2 minutes to answer the questions. So the 3 gentlemen that, of course, have gone first, you've done well. So, Kempes, why should you be the man running Kenyan football?
Ya, asanteni sana kwa fursa ambayo umetupatia kuongea kuhusiana na mpira. Mimi jina langu ni Sammyowinokempes. Nilizaliwa mtaa wa Ziwani, Nairobi. Nilichezea timu ya mtaa ya Umeme, alafu baadaye nikachezea Union, Gor Mahia na timu ya taifa ya Kenya. Nikaenda ngambo nikahusiana na mpira, na nikaona ilifika wakati nilirudi, nikaona nirudi niendeleze mpira hapa. Kwa hiyo mpira hapa tuna shida sana, na tuna shida ya uongozi, na mimi naona nina ujuzi na nina uwezo, nina shauku vile vile, na nina zile vitu ambazo zinahitajiwa kuendeleza mpira hapa. Kwa hivyo zile vitu ambazo zinahitajiwa mimi ninazo. Kwa hivyo nafasi hiyo nafikiria nitaitumia vizuri.
Sam Ochola, some of us know you from Gor Mahia, but why is it that, you know, Kenyans should entrust you to run football?
Thank you very much, viewers. All the TV stations today who are shooting this show, honorable guests, and all my competitors here. Good evening. My name is Sam Ochola, Secretary General of Gor Mahia Football Club. And I'm happy to be sitting here today to give my candidacy for the president. First of all, I'm a master's degree holder from United States University Africa in business administration. And I come with a wealth of experience from running the biggest club in Kenya in the last 4 years. And I believe I understand the problems of football at that high level. And I want to showcase our success at the highest level in Kenyan football. Secondly, I'd really like to devolve football as it is right now. The present federation, Kenya Football Federation, which my friend Barry Otieno has been a Secretary General for the last 5 years, you've seen they run the whole of this football from Canada House here. What I intend to do is make sure that all the 48 counties of Kenya have a federation office, well managed by all the chairmen who are going to be elected very soon. And I will make sure that these elected officers in the different counties of Kenya have a budget. I intend to make sure that they have a budget of 3 million shillings so that they're able to run grassroots football development. And then secondly, I want to make sure that KPL Limited is brought back. It is important that the KPL clubs run their own league, manage their own field.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we'll get more into that. And Cleophas Shimanyula, watu wengi wanakujua kama mwenyekiti wa klabu ya Kakamega Homeboys. Lakini mbona unataka kuongoza mpira nchini?
Asante sana wale watazamaji wote. Kwa majina yangu ni Cleophas Shimanyula Toto. Mimi ni mfanyabiashara kwa tofauti. Mimi ni Mkristo, niko na diploma kwa motor vehicle engineering. Na mimi nimesema kwamba nimetaka kuwania hii kiti kwa sababu zake ni kwamba mimi ndio chairman wa Kakamega Homeboys. Nilianza miaka 23 iliyopita na nimekuwa na support sababu ni community club. Nimekuwa na support peke yangu na marafiki zangu pia wakisaidia. Na mimi naelewa mambo ya grassroots, na kufuatana na uongozi mbaya ambayo huko katika hii federation ndio nilisema lazima hata niwache kazi zangu nihakikishe nimekuja kuokoa mpira wa Kenya. Umeona kama hivi juzi tumepigwa na timu ndogo sana ambayo ilianza 2011, na hii inakuwa ni madharau kubwa katika Kenya, na ujuzi ambayo niko nayo kutokea grassroots nita make sure kwamba tunaendeleza mpira mbele. Hata hii shida ya referees, tuhakikishe referees wamepata pesa zao. Teams nitahakikisha nimeangalia sponsors kutoka kila mahali na kuhakikisha zile pesa zimekuja katika kutoka FIFA na CAF zimetumika vizuri na ziwe inakuwa gazetted, zikiingia zinakuwa gazetted, teams zinajua. Na pia nita make sure branches zote zinapata, kila branch inapata 2 million kuwawezesha kutembeza ile mpira kule katika huko mashinani.
Shukran sana. Shukran sana. Kwanza tuwapige makofi wanaogombea. Now, before we move on to the question session, because we've got the audience behind here, we are about to put out 2 sets of guidelines. First of all, kindly remember that you are live on 4 national stations and online across the world. So it's good to be in your best behavior. And also, kindly, if you have your phone on, kindly put it on silent or put it off. The ringtones, really will not help, and that is for everyone. Now, the rules for the audience, first of all, we would like to thank you that you have not come here carrying placards. Somebody must go. We haven't seen those must go placards going on there. But we'd also like to say, number 1, booing, ululating, cheering, or showing, support that is not fair is going to be controlled. So, and we also request members of the audience that you do maintain silence, expect the designated times for speaking. So those are the rules that we have there. And remember that we're going to be having 1 break, and that is in just about less than about a quarter of an hour. And so, members of the audience, those are the rules. When it comes to the questions, because you're fielding the questions, we will be going to my left and also to my right. So remember that is going to be there. 3 questions. Don't give a speech. Let the question be short and sweet. Abula and Elijah will be handling that matter for us.
Yes,
Robinson?
we also have, the rules of engagement for our candidates. First, it's 2 minutes each to answer your questions. Once the duration is done, the microphone will go off, but the moderator has some leniency, may add 30 more seconds into that. Now, aside from that, the candidate shall remain in their designated positions during the duration of the debate. You're allowed to carry a notepad and a pen if you wish to write down. You can also refer to your notes during the debate. If you may, you may not use technology during the debate except when making the opening or closing statements. You are not allowed to use props or visuals of any kind during the debate, and also you're not allowed to promote violence of any form, including words and conduct, and avoid derogatory or abusive language against any opponents. Those are the rules of engagement for candidates. And gentlemen, I know you've heard them, and we are going to adhere to that, and this will go on smoothly. Wahome.
All right, thank you. Now we'll go straight to our first set of questions in this town hall. Elijah, you could now hand over the mic to the members of the audience with the first 3 questions for our candidates.
Thank you very much, Wahome there. It's going to be a very engaging conversation, and I'm delighted to be having a former Gor Mahia player, a former Kenyan international. He played for Harambee Stars in the 90s, and that is Mr. Tobias Ocholak. Sir, can you just kindly stand up? What exactly do you want to ask the presidential candidates?
Thank you, the audience, our presidential candidates. My question, the first one is, the football fraternity in this country is struggling because of sponsorship. Teams are not paid, teams are winding up because they lack finances. If you happen to be elected as the presidential candidate, what will you do differently to change the scenario for the teams in this country?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ochola. They have a pertinent issue for sure. That's the only question that we have for now, but let's take you back to Mr. Wahome.
All right, so I'll let the candidates answer, and tuanze nawe Bwana Shimanyula uzajibu swali ambalo limeulizwa na Bwana Ochola kuhusu ufadhili na kuwekeza katika mchezo wa kambumbu hapa nchini.
Nimefurahia sana na swali la Ochola. Mimi nitasema kwamba mimi kwangu kutakuwa na transparency, kwamba tuhakikishe kila kitu yote inawekwa kwa meza, na mimi nitakuwa tofauti na ile federation yenye iko kwa saizi, kwa sababu nitakuwa na uwazi, sitakuwa na mambo ya kuitisha 70% ndio sponsor aingie.
Tafadhali, hatutakubali maneno kama haya. Mtu ambaye hako hapa na hawezi jitetea, tafadhali tusitumie lugha kama hiyo. Ziko kwa sheria zetu.
Sawa. Nita make sure nimetafuta more sponsors na tuhakikishe kwamba pesa zao zinatumika, na tunakubali auditors kuingia na kuangalia pesa zao zinatumika vizuri, na nita make sure team zote tutahakikisha tumefanya accountability vizuri, kwa sababu team zile pesa tunapeana hatapeana kwa mtu binafsi. Tuta make sure kama ni team tunatengeneza ile kamati ambayo inaangalia hiyo pesa inaenda namna gani, na pia tuta make sure tuhakikishe tumeongea na hizi kampuni mingi. Kama mimi nita make sure pia serikali, tuhakikishe tumeongea na serikali, tuhakikishe pesa ya sports imeingia katika hizi timu zote, na pia tuta make sure kwamba tumekuwa na wale watu ambao kama wale CEOs, tukuwa na CEOs ambao wako competent, wale wata make sure kila kitu kifanyika inafanyika kwa uzuri. Tuta make sure hiyo ufisadi hakuna mahali popote itakuwa.
Shukran. Ochola, please.
Ochola. Namesake. That was
yes, is your namesake, yes.
Namesake, yeah. Thank you very much for that question. I think Shimanyula is not very off from I mean, when he says about 70% or 50% or 20%. Apparently, this federation that you have today has never shown us any of the contracts of the sponsorship. So we do not know how much those contracts are worth. So any figure could work. But I want to say that we need a lot of transparency in when you get into office. The first thing I'll do is make sure that KPL is reconstituted, and they should be able to handle all the TV rights and all the sponsorship rights, so that the whole world will know how much money we are getting from these sponsors, and teams can share these amount of money equally according to how they agree as a team. So KPL should be able, from the top team to the 18th team, should be able to manage these funds as a limited company. Right now, we do not know how much we've gotten from any of these sponsorships and TV rights, because it is not public knowledge. So,
okay, I'd like to interject there.
Yes.
I know the previous deal with KBC was made public, and so the amount that was signed up, including the production fees, was coming to about 1.75.
That's what you know.
$1
That's what you know. But we as
I'm
teams,
a KBC insider, sorry.
Yes.
That's why I would say that.
We've always asked KBC to publish all that publicly.
We actually did
put it on the public so that we know. I'm saying that teams, as the KPL teams, do not have, when they were standing there with the former CS, Ababu Namwamba, and President Nick Mwendwa, we did not know what they were talking about. If you listen to that clip, we actually don't know how much we're meant to get for every club. The one of Azam is very clear. We know what we signed, but we do not know about the KBC deal.
Okay, I know at least I can speak for that from an insider perspective, but we've got to save on time. And Mr. OWINO, I will jump. I mean, let me just keep you, because Barry, this is where I would like to bring you in. As an immediate former CEO, you are very much aware of, you can put clarity onto that.
Yes,
That's right.
And I think just to add on that, let me come in. Barry, does it bother you that for the last 5 years you've been the second most powerful person in Kenyan football, and yet our league could not, attract corporate sponsors?
Thank you. I think so. First is to answer to Sam. I think when you're in primary, you're told that ignorance has got no defense. And sometimes your lack of unpreparedness should not cause a crisis on our part. Now, Wahome, on to you. When I was at the federation, we shared contracts with club chairman. Unfortunately, Sam is not a club chairman. If he wins, he will become president. But there are also internal issues within some clubs and internal politics that we are not in charge of. Now, on to Tobias' question. And I want to break it down to the level of someone at a grassroots. So today, if you put a post on social media to say that Gor Mahia is playing Kakamega Homeboys, that's advertisement. If you go around with a car saying that this match will be at Buhungu Stadium at 3 p.m., that is promotion. And if people talk about the price of the ticket, that is publicity. Now, if you go to the stadium and you get good food, the pitch is well, there are clean toilets, there is snack during halftime, that is hospitality. If you plan all these things deliberately, that's marketing. And that's what we intend to do when we say that we want to develop football beyond the pitch. A lot of clubs do not do this. Thank you.
Oh. Okay. Kempes.
Yeah, same question.
Same question.
Somehow, I magically disappear somehow. But yeah, the issue of money is our biggest problem. And I think it's obvious to me that there's a trust deficit in the federation, there's integrity deficit, and that impacts in terms of how people trust us to give us money. So that's issue number one. The other thing is we don't have a brand that attracts investors, sponsors. If you want to get money, you have to build a brand that attracts sponsors, and that's our biggest issue that we have. If you look at our league in general, in terms of governance, that's an issue like I've stated. But if you look at a whole league, for example, it's not attractive because we've not built that brand. We need to invest in marketing, and we got to market our leagues better. We need to raise standards of our KPL leagues, because without standards, there's a level of expectation that is going to be, there's not going to be met, that requires to be good. So marketing is important, raising of standards is important, and then we have to also raise the entertainment value of our leagues, because one of the things that people need to understand is people just don't go to games. People go to games to be entertained. And so one of the entertainment values is the product on the field. So the level of the game is one entertainment value. The other entertainment value is what happens to, you could have pre-game entertainment, halftime entertainment, and all that kind of thing. So we need to market our leagues. We need to be able to raise the value of our entertainment, and we also need to make sure that from a governance standpoint, that we run our federation in such a way that we build a brand that is marketable to the sponsors.
All right. Thank you very much, Kempes. Well, we'll be taking a break in just over 1 minute. And so with that means that maybe Tom Alila and Hussein Mohammed, you will be having that opportunity to answer those questions. And there are some rebuttal questions that we'd like to put forward just in regard to that question. And the second set of questions that you're going to answer will be coming from my left, where Abdullah Ahmed is. So we take this break. When we come back, we'll be having more of these conversations, as we say, and Tom Alila, you'll be next. The hashtag is FKF Debate 2024.
Welcome back to the FKF presidential debate. Remember, before we went for a break, the issue on the table was sponsorship. And before we even get to the two candidates that were yet to answer that question on what they will do to make sure that they bring in sponsorship to the league. Remember, we're live on KTN, KBC, K24, and NTV, and we want to continue with that conversation. And Tom Alila, let me come to you on this issue of sponsorship. What will you do to bring sponsorship to Kenyan football?
I think to answer Ochola's question, as I did my opening statement, that the problem with football in Kenya is governance. There is no rocket science about it. It's an administrative issue that needs to be fixed. And the Kenyans want to go to World Cup. There's World Cup coming in 2027, and we need to fix the governance issue first. Then we'll bring hygiene in football. We need to fix the FKF Constitution. We have Sports Act. They are not intertwined at all. The one is saying this, FKF Constitution is saying this, but we all know that the Constitution of Kenya acknowledges that Sports Act is far much superior than any association's constitution. So that is number one. So number two is the way he said that once we fix the governance, then we'll have a conveyor belt on how teams should be going on. If I'm elected, I want to, first of all, vary the FKF Constitution. As I said before, we spend with our kids 120 days at home. The rest of the time they spend in school. That is the balance of the days that is remaining. We must have policies that, according to FIFA statute, the golden age for developing football is 7 years. And you could see even the team that went to World Cup for women, they came from schools. So we have to open up the FKF Constitution to accommodate these two bodies. And this is governance. We also have to open up space so that we can accommodate the sub-branches, so that the conveyor belt I'm talking about can be sorting out this under 10, under 15, under 17,
yes,
under 22 to the final product. This can be done. Kenya doesn't lack talent. So it is purely governance issue that needs to be fixed.
Thank you very much, Alila. Saying there is a lackluster approach from the corporate world to touch Kenyan football. If elected, what will you do in regards to sponsorships?
Thank you very much for the question. I think for us what is important right now is to ask ourselves, when did this rain start beating us? Why did the sponsors take flight? Why did they run away? What happened to SuperSport? What happened to SportPesa? What happened to all the big corporates that used to participate in development of football in this country? They ran away because of the mediocrity, the ineptitude, and the corruption in the game. So we have to tackle that first without fear or favor. If you look at what sponsors look for, they look for ROI. They look for return on investment. What are they getting? Is there value for their shilling in whatever it is that they're doing? And I'll speak for myself. What will I do? I've done it before. Look at 2015. I brought the first big sponsorship into Kenyan football through SportPesa when they supported Super 8 League. So actually, I brought Safaricom into football, into the football sponsorship space back in 2004 with the first edition of the Super 8, which eventually transitioned into the sponsorship transition into Sakata and lately what you call Chapadimba. All that was a baby of extreme sports. We nurtured it from the beginning. So I've shown my capacity in the past in terms of bringing corporate partners on board, and we will continue to build on that. But most importantly for sponsors is they look for return on investment, they look for credibility, they look for accountability, they look for transparency, which is lacking in the current administration.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you for the applause to the candidates. And now we'll be taking the second set of questions. Abula Ahmed, over to you.
Asante sana Daniel Wahome. Mbali na kuwa ni mwanahabari, huja nieleza kwamba una kipaji cha kuwa referee. Ni kadi nyekundu tu ndo huna hapo. Nimezingirwa na watu ambao wamechangia kwa njia moja au nyingine kuendeleza soka nchini Kenya. Ni mpatie nafasi Kairo Wanyoike ambaye ni mkufunzi aulize swali lake.
Good evening everyone. My question to the candidates is, do you guys believe in the integrity and independence of the electoral board as it stands?
Okay. Abulo, na swali lingine?
Maswali yako mengi.
Tunaweza
Yapo
chukua
mengi. Nipatie nafasi pia, naambiwa niangalie pia usawa wa jinsia kidogo. Uliza swali.
Good evening. My questions goes to Shimanyula. Kakamega Boys has been involved in match fixing since 2019. Are you directly involved?
Tafadhali tupatie jina lako.
Ruth Mweni.
One more, Abula, before we move on.
Swali la tatu nadhani kila mtu atapata nafasi. Kila mtu atapata nafasi. Swali la tatu tuende kwa Boniface Sambani.
Good evening. My name is Rambani Boniface. I think I direct my questions to the two gentlemen over there. That's Ochola and Shimanyula. I don't know if it's a question, but I don't know how you're going to respond to it. You know, the way you guys behave when are giving our players contracts to sign, in the same way I'm seeing you guys are behaving the way you're signing contracts with sponsors. You know, Ochola, seeing you running a big team like Gor Mahia, and then you're seated here telling Kenyans that you do not understand what is in those contracts, I fail to understand, surely. Shimanyula, you are the chairman of Kakamega Boys. And I believe when somebody signing a contract, you're supposed to read the contract, you understand, and then you sign it. I think a contract around 7 clauses. So there's offer, acceptance, and then when you accept, you have to sign. So I don't understand why the two of you are here seated, you're seeking for an elective post, and then you personally, you do not even understand what the contracts entail. So I think maybe, sorry to say, but I need answers.
Well, thank you, Boniface Mbani, of course, a legend of the game in the country. But I believe what Boniface is talking about is player welfare. This is an area that we also need to get into now that contracts are also involved, Wahome. So let's begin with Barry, player welfare. We'll get to, of course, Cleophas and Ochola. But let's begin with you, Barry, now that you have been running football for last 5 years in the country. Player welfare and the way contracts are designed in the country. What are you going to change?
I think, first of all, I would want to request that we do some fact-checking on what candidates are saying.
Yes.
Because one, extreme sports didn't give birth to Chapadimba or to Sakata.
Yes.
So let's check facts. Two, very quickly, Wahome. I think the issue of sponsorship, yes, SportPesa sponsored extreme sports, but that sponsorship was also terminated just under 2 years for reasons best known to people here. Now, on to my second, or on to the issue of player welfare.
Yes.
Now, I have been CEO of FKF for 5 years, and people keep on shouting about that. But all these gentlemen here have been in football longer than me. I'm actually the youngest. So the issue didn't start when I became CEO. The issue has been there. And Robinson, what has been the issue? The issue has been this, that we have not built the capacity of our people, that we are taught how to play football from a very young age, but then we are not given the prerequisite skills to transition into administration. Look at the presidential candidates here. Go to their websites. Check how they look. Go to the websites of clubs. Look at clubs, even big clubs like Gor Mahia. Why are they being sanctioned by FIFA for wrongful termination of player contracts or maybe coaches? What we intend to do, and when we say we want to develop football beyond the pitch, is that we want to equip football administrators at both levels, both at the club level and at the grassroots level, with the necessary skills to ensure that football is sustainable, but also they understand the commercialization of football assets. And someone has talked about the KPL deal. Now, in life, there's something you call fiduciary relationship, and that's when I am more knowledgeable than you. If we go into a contract where I am more knowledgeable than you, you have a problem. The KPL deal, SuperSport were given rights that they could not even exploit. And this was because the people who were in that office then didn't understand what to do. So we are very committed in capacity building, in exchange programs that will bring our people to a certain level where they can ensure that football is sustainable, but also know what contracts they're getting into. Thank you.
I think I have a right of...
you have a right of reply.
Of reply. So maybe if you give me the opportunity to reply to that.
Yes, you have.
In 2004, we were the first company to be sponsored by Safaricom for the Super 8 League, and that is a fact. The terms and conditions of Sakata were copy-paste the rules and regulations of extreme sports, which we crafted from scratch. And that's what I meant when I said that we gave birth to what became Sakata and to what became Chapadimba. Actually, the rules and regulations in 2005 or 2006, after Super 8 had been started, is what was copy-pasted by the same people who were at Extreme Sports who went and did Sakata. So that is a fact, it's on record. We cannot allow this platform to be used for falsehoods. On the issue of SportPesa and the termination of the sponsorship, let Barry Otieno here, who is really privileged, considering all the ills the Federation has done to share this platform with us, show us where the termination of the contract is. The termination of the contract by SportPesa or by Extreme Sports was also as a result by the intimidation, coercion, threats by the Federation to stifle anything meaningful, by anything that was done meaningful. And it is important for us to set the record straight that hundreds of thousands of young people suffered out of the intimidation that was caused by the Federation in trying to kill grassroots football. And that is a fact. So when you talk about sponsors running away from grassroots football, it is because of the coercion, intimidation, blackmail that came from FKF. And those are the things that we are going to finish come 7th of December this year.
Okay. Yes, of course, as we continue with this conversation. Yes, as we continue with this conversation.
Tafadhali tumie lugha ambayo haitaleta vurugu.
Yes.
Na tuweke ndio. Sisi wote ni washindani, sio maadui. Shindani hapa.
Also remember, as we continue with this conversation, there were some rules for the audience. Please, no booing, no ululating, cheering, applauding or showing support, support in any other similar manner. We are here to listen to the candidates. Yes, as much as you want to cheer them on, let's have this conversation. Then after we are done, you can cheer your candidate. That's after this whole conversation is over. Wahome, we continue with the
I think I have a right of reply because I've been adversely mentioned.
Barry, can we bank that one for you? You keep your right of reply. Can we bank that for you so that we can deal with this issue?
The right of reply is only on the person who has been accused. There's no right of reply on my
No, wait. You put something. He was there. So, audience, please. Okay.
So, audience, please. I think he said that we led to the termination of SportPesa, and it's not true. Are there documents to support that claim?
So, that is you, Barry. I have asked that we bank your right of reply. We are giving that to you. Can we bank that?
That's okay. That's okay, Wahome.
All right. Thank you. Tukuja kwako Bwana Shimanyula, na hapa ni maneno haswa kujali masilahi ya wachezaji, kandarasi ambazo unapatia mchezaji wakati anakuja kujiunga na klabu chako, wakati ambapo pengine anasafiri, kwa sababu Kakamega Homeboyz wamecheza nje ya Kenya. Kwa hivyo haya ni mambo ambayo umeshajua. Tueleze haswa hizi kandarasi mnaziangalia kwa uzuri, na pia ukipata kandarasi ambayo itakuletea pesa unaiangalia kwa makini.
Asante sana kwa swali ya huyo alikuwa mchezaji wa zamani. Nafikiri hakuelewa, yeye ndiye hakuelewa, kwa sababu kulikuwa na swali kwamba contract zile za sponsors ndio tunasema tujaona. Sasa yeye amesema ile wachezaji. Ndamjibu kwa ile wachezaji. Hakuna kandarasi yote utafanya bila kuelewana na huyo mchezaji. Mnakaa chini, mnakubaliana mshahara, mnakubaliana muda. So contract iko wazi. Hata yeye ukimfanyia makosa atakimbia kwa Barry. kuhakikisha ameambia Bari kwamba hapa nimekosewa, sijalipwa hii, sijalipwa hii, sijalipwa hii. So Boniface, nafikiria swali lako uliouliza ilikuwa kwa sababu sisi, mimi na huyu tumekuwa tunasema ile contract ya sponsor hatujai kuona. Yeye akasema ametoa. So nafikiria pale kidogo labda atuelezee, alikuwa anataka tumueleze vipi aelewe.
Wait, Ambani, please, there is order.
Yeah. Yes.
Let him just
Boniface, please, there is order.
Aya, tukiendelea hivyo, pia kuna mwanadada ameuliza juu ya match fixing. Mimi ndio nilikuwa whistleblower wa hiyo mambo ya match fixing, na nikatega wale wote waliokuwa wakifanya hii, ilikuwa coach na wachezaji kadhaa, na walibaniwa kutoka kule FIFA. Bari yako hapa kutestify kwamba tulipeana evidence zote kwa federation, na ndio wakatusaidia wale watu wakabaniwa. Mimi najua ule mwanadada labda alitumwa na mtu kuuliza swali kama hiyo. I'm not a match fixer. I'm not a match fixer. Na tena do this. Kwa hawa tumekaa hapa, hata nyinyi wenyewe mnajua gambler ni nani. Kuna gambler kati yetu, ule ambaye mnajua. Haya, sikiza boss, ni vizuri tusikize kwa sababu usiwe biased. Yes. Kwa sababu nikwambia hivyo, kuna gambler mmoja hapa, international gambler. Sasa ukikuja kutuambia match fixing, I cannot fix a match.
Okay. Thank you very much. And yes, swali moja. And this is because I'll also be coming to that because you've brought it out.
Yes.
Swali kuhusu match fixing.
Yeah.
Ni vipi utafanya? Kwa sababu Kenya hatuna sheria.
Kwangu mimi kama nikichaguliwa na najua mtanichagua, nikishachukua hiki kiti nitahakikisha nimeweka laini mzuri sana ya kuhakikisha hao wakora wote ambao watu wengine wako hapa, kuhakikisha tumewashika na tuhakikishe katika sheria ya Kenya. Nilihangaika sana wakati nilipata wale watu wana match fix. Tuhakikishe imewekwa katika bunge ya Kenya, tuweke match fixers wawe fungwe maisha, kwa sababu hiyo ndio mchezo inaharibu games. Na pale hapo hata wale referees wa Kenya wengi wana fix game, wachezaji wana fix pamoja na nini, na wale team managers wana fix game. So mimi nitahakikisha nimetengeneza na ikuwe kama sheria, sababu wakati mimi nilipata wale match fixers ilikuwa ni ngumu hata kwa polisi kupiga report. Polisi walikosa kunisaidia. So nitahakikisha nimetengeneza mechanism ambayo itakuwa mzuri ya kukamata hii
match fixers.
Yes. Match fixers.
Sawa. Okay, so let's come to you, Ochola, and it's also been asked.
I think
clarity of contracts, player welfare.
Yeah,
and I want you to conjoin this because you can't, if you listen to the stories behind match fixing, some claim it's because of this or that, but that is a different case.
Yeah.
First, clarity of contracts.
Okay. Ambani's question was an oxymoron. They call it oxymoron in English because anauliza swali moja vile nani amesema about players, alafu anauliza about contracts. I don't know exactly what he was asking, but there are two kinds of contracts for players. Player contracts in Gor Mahia are very open. Everybody reads them. There's a copy that is sent to the federation. There's a copy that we have in the club, and the player also has a club. The club also has a contract. They are very straightforward. They are very good contracts, and our players, I think, are paid very well according to any level of Kenyan football. So what he's asking about me not knowing, I'm the custodian of all those contracts. So I want him to know that there's nothing that I do not know about contracts in Gor Mahia. Now, coming to contracts about sponsorship, okay? Most of the time, we are just given documents to sign by the federation. Apart from the one we have with SportPesa, which is it's between us and them. It was put on the table. We have two great lawyers. I'm the secretary of Gor Mahia Football Club, so I am the custodian of that contract. We know what is in there, and he should not think that it's public knowledge. That is it's a confidential document. Now, so every time he points at Gor Mahia, he needs to also know that he needs to speak about one question or the other. About match fixing, the lady there stood up and said, accusing Homeboys of match fixing. Homeboys has never been banned or fined or anything about match fixing, okay? So when she stands there and says for so many years there's been match fixing, I think the best person to answer is, of course, Barry Otieno over here to tell us whether it's true or false. Because we know that Homeboys is playing the league and it has never been fined for match fixing. But we know that referees are not paid on time. We know that referees are treated very poorly. We know that, like for the ladies, we're always talking about men's team. We know that the ladies football club, FIFA Forward, has given development money over the years from 2016 to 2022 over 1.3 billion shillings for women's football to play referees, to pay for coaching and all these things. This money has never been used for these women football clubs. So we know there's a big problem of governance at the federation. At whatever level, they can deny, they can do everything. But bringing Barry back into Kenyan football is going to be a very big shame. Thank you.
Well, of course, as we've spoken about this, Kempes, you've been quiet. You're a former player, and we are talking about contracts and, of course, player welfare. What is that different thing that you're going to bring into this?
Yeah, the issue of, the issue of integrity is a problem, clearly. I think if you look at our football right now, there's no denying that there's lack of credibility. All the issues that we talked about are true. I think it's hard for anybody to deny that there's problems there. I think it comes down to the issue of leadership. I'll fight corruption in all its forms, whether it is related to match fixing, whether it's related to finding anybody who's stealing federation money. I'll fight corruption in all of its forms and make sure that if I find it, I will eliminate it, because it's a big problem in our football. Secondly, when we talk about clubs, I think Ambani raised an issue of clubs. I've watched carefully how our clubs operate. And clearly, for me, from where I am, we need to establish standards for our clubs in order for us to build the kind of football we want that's going to attract sponsorship. Part of that is for us to be able to create standards for our clubs so that the clubs can meet those standards and be able to do that. But more importantly, there's a, when we talk about building money, bringing money into our football, we can approach it on one level. There's a holistic way of looking at it that involves leadership, that involves raising standards, that involves security in our games, that involves how we market our clubs, our football. And the only way we can do it is if we build a brand that is attractive to sponsors, then sponsors will bring money to us. It's that simple.
All right. Thank you. Barry, over to you. Integrity of club, integrity around contracts, integrity around the game. Match manipulation as it is officially known.
I think match fixing is a global issue. That's the first line of it. Kenya has not been spared on the issue of match fixing. And it's sad because it's at two levels. So there is the level where gamers bet on odds and win money. And then there's another level during my period at FKF where I realized that club officials, without personalizing, and this is just an example, Morangasil is number one, and the chairman of Morangasil bribes the referee so that Gor Mahia doesn't win. And that's an example. I'm not saying it's an example.
It's an example. We are maintaining that that's an example.
That's an example that I'm giving.
That's a bad example.
On to my point.
Use A or B in this case.
On to my point.
You've got two officials of those clubs
One is
here.
that players, coaches, and club officials need to be sensitized about match fixing and how match fixing affects the game. That has been done. Is there room for improvement? Of course there is, and we intend to continue with this. During my period as FKF CEO, is that in partnership with FIFA, we came up with a system of detecting, preventing, and then now people can also report how match fixing affects. And Chairman Shimanyula would attest that we've worked with him closely to ensure that we mitigate. Again, it's not something, it's very amorphous, so you can't say
Conviction numbers, if I may ask?
I left FKF, I don't know the numbers. Maybe Korir, you can call him, he can give you the numbers. I'm not familiar with the numbers at this time.
Yeah, but we would know of...
During his time.
During your time.
Or active investigations. That because you sent out communication.
I know that when I left, around 39 individuals had been provisionally suspended. The biggest challenge with match fixing in Kenya is that there are no national laws that allows for these individuals to be prosecuted. So sometimes you take them to court and they can only be charged with bribery.
Aha.
Yeah.
Thank you. Alila.
Yeah, As I said before, all these things that we are bickering about comes to governance, and this all components.
It's governance.
Yes. So if I'm elected, FIFA is an association. FIFA has laid down all the issues that need to be sorted out in football. Secondly, the Association of Football Kenya Federation is also part of FIFA association. That's why as FKF is a regulator, all this that we are saying is that FKF should not be involving in side issues. It should be a regulator in that these leagues that we have, FKF has got what we call their properties. That is the first tier league, that is those 18 clubs. Those are the properties that they have. NSL, they have women football, the leagues, Division A and B. All these issues need to be aligned so that we can have value in our leagues. In that governance issues that I keep on, we are all bickering, match fixing, club licensing, integrity in football, all these are lying in governance. And that's what, if I'm elected, I'm going to fix. There's no rocket science in running football. And football administration is not about running tournaments or being a player. You know, you must have the skills to be an administrator so that you can inculcate all these rules that FIFA has put in place so that the country should be able to be playing in World Cup. The under-17, not the girls only, but you must have a conveyor belt, as I say, to fix football back to the grassroots, in the sub-branch levels. All this can only be fixed when there is proper governance. All these people are saying, oh, this, that, all again aligned to governance of football in this country. That's what I want to change. And yes, as I said, it's no rocket science. Yeah.
Yes, not rocket science. Now, Hussein, a question was put across, and the question is, do you believe in the integrity of the electoral board?
I think first on the issue of match fixing, it goes back to the basics, that if we have no integrity within the federation, then there's no way you can expect them to do anything about match fixing. I think it is rampant. It's in the public domain, what has happened in the past, and it all goes back to issues of integrity. And that integrity is what is lacking. We need to take care of referees' welfare. We need to make sure that they are remunerated well. We need to make sure that there's enough capacity building at all levels so that we avoid match fixing in the future. We need to make sure that all the clubs and owners of clubs are sensitized. And we need to make sure, again, and I agree here with Tom when he says it's issues of governance, you cannot talk of integrity when in 2021 you are banned for 6 months by CAF for tearing up PCRs for COVID. And this is on record. You know, this is on record.
Yes.
In 2020, Barry here, again, went and wrote a letter to CAF, which got our women out of AUCON. So when you talk of integrity, you have to be able to stand up on your 2 feet and say, I have no allegations against me. I'm not on record having stolen anything. So we have to be very, very adamant that integrity is the bedrock of us being able to find sustainable solutions moving forward. And that integrity is what we lack. On the issue of independence of electoral board, which is the question that was asked earlier, is from the beginning we were clear. And we said, number one, the FKF electoral board needs to be out of FKF offices. And it's human nature. If IEBC was operating at State House, do you think the opposition would agree? They would not. IEBC cannot operate from State House. Number two, who are the staff supporting the electoral board? It's the FKF staff. So where is the fairness? Where is the impartiality in that process? The other thing we talked about the electoral board, remember at the SGM, and again I was on record, at the FKF SGM, of which Barry had vowed I will never attend, and I attended. At that SGM, we passed the electoral board. And we told them that we have confidence in you, and we will trust you to do the right thing, and we will give you full cooperation, and we will give you our support. And that was at the beginning. Along the way, we've raised serious red flags about the independence of the board. 1, on address. 2, on the voter register. 3, on the list of delegates, which, again, was supplied by Barry before he left FKF. Where is the independence in that? Let me finish. The fourth thing, we are telling the Independent Electoral Board, why do you keep switching names every now and then? This week alone, they have switched the name of candidates several times, which is unacceptable. How do we have 5 days to the general election, to the election on Saturday? No civic education, no meeting with the candidates so far. They have not met with us. They have not outlined what will happen on Saturday. We have no idea who the returning officers are. So what I'm trying to say about the Electoral Board is this. We told you we trust you, and we gave you the mandate to run this election. Let it be free, let it be fair, let it be above board, you have to be accountable, it has to be verifiable. That's all we ask of the board.
I think I want to make a rejoinder.
I think I have
Let
a
Barry
right
respond.
of reply.
Yes.
Barry,
And the first thing is, I don't know who's keeping the time.
Hussein,
Hussein's 2 minutes seem to be 5. Huh?
No, I do have an issue with time because you seem
Yeah.
to be giving a lot of time to certain individuals.
So, but let me go into it.
In the interest of fairness,
Yes.
can you give equal time to everybody?
Okay.
Yeah.
So can I go?
We'll appreciate
Can
that.
Barry, go
I have
fast.
a right
A
of
minute.
rebuttal, yeah?
Yes, a minute
I
to
should
reply,
have-
especially about the letters to CAF.
So there have been a number of accusations. And the highest calling for man is the calling of God. And I'm surprised when a Muslim who goes around wearing betting clothes, clearly advertising
Excuse me,
betting,
please.
talks about issues of integrity. That's not integrity.
No.
Now,
We
let me
will
go
not-
on to my second point. Let me go on to my second point.
We will not, I mean.
It's true.
Wait,
He
wait.
has photos all over social
Wait,
media wearing
wait.
betting and he's Muslim.
Just a minute, Barry. Serious, Barry, I think as a country...
What is integrity?
Wait. As a country, the laws of this land do allow for non-discrimination across
I'm not discriminating.
culture or
Mohammed.
anything, so...
I apologize. Let me go to my point.
Okay, the point specifically is the letter to CAF he mentioned.
I have been accused of not being a person of high standing in terms of integrity by someone who I also believe shoots on this side and stays on this side. If you say you are a person of integrity, I mean, you can do a background check on me and do a background check on him. Now, on to the letter, if you allow me to answer that.
2 minutes.
I mean, I gave you a minute to answer. I gave you a minute to answer that. You've taken half the time. Stick to the letter, please.
Let me speak to the letter. Thank you, Home. So, in 2021, CAF introduced a COVID protocol mechanism. And I don't want to speak into it. There were national team players that were there. I never saw any COVID results. The issue that we were playing away in Comoros, Comoros has got 1 hospital and 1 bank. By regulation, if a player was found to be positive on COVID, you needed to, as a right, you were supposed to be given an alternative hospital to test these players. That's what I asked for, and the officials were not happy. I never teared any paper.
Thank you.
Yes, Alila, briefly, because we also have another set
just a
of
second.
people that want to also ask
Yeah,
questions.
I wanted to
yes,
bring
Alila.
in a second on issues of the electoral board.
Sure.
I think when the FKF convened the SGM, the electoral board is supposed to be presented at the same time when the SGM is going on, and they need to be also appeals committee. That is present. This is according to FIFA statute. I think my friend Hussein, I think, represented Muranga Seal, and he was part of that convention. I mean, he was part of the SGM. And I don't want to go to the sub judice rule on issue because we have gone to court over this matter of the electoral board because procedures were not followed. The statute of FIFA states that an electoral board members, and I think Barry here can verify, must be members of FKF. You cannot get people from outside. That is FIFA statute, and it's all well elaborated in FKF constitution. So mistakes were done at that board, and we have an issue that I'm running under protest because we have a case going on at SDT. So the rules were not followed. That's why the eligibility of the board is in question. So that is something that we must put forward as we go on.
Sammyowinokempes, do you have faith in the FKF electoral board?
I have some issues with that. There's a lot of issues that we can address, but I have 2 issues that I want to address. The first one is in regards to some of the members that were barred from participating in this process. They're not in the list. And the reason is because even though they met the qualifications of being, that were required by the Constitution, they were bad because they were members of CFA. I think for the Electoral Board to ask, the reason they were members of CFA because they were following, they registered according to the Sports Act. So for me, for the Electoral Board to ban people who are actually following what the law requires makes no sense to me. They are opening themselves up to legal issues in the future. Secondly, my other concern is the issue of security and that we have a secret balloting, because what happens typically is during elections, people come in with their phones and then they're promised money and then they take photos of their ballot and then they're given the balance of the money. My question to them is, you can laugh, but it's true. My question is are they going to allow secret balloting so that those kinds of things don't happen? So those are my two questions. I'm not saying secret balloting always happens. It always happens, but sometimes it is an issue. So those are the two questions I have for them. But just one more thing.
Yes.
I'm a candidate who's been in the business of running soccer successfully. I've touched every area of football. I've built physical infrastructure. I've built incredible fields. I've been involved in building tournaments, leagues, all that stuff. So I've been involved in building successful business. I understand what it means to build successful businesses, and I am capable of doing the same here. I have the vision for this country, and I'm capable of replicating what I've done for this country.
Yes, thank you, Kempes. Ochola, do you also have issues with the FKF Electoral Board?
Oh, yes, definitely. I think so long as they're sitting at Kandanda House and managing all their business from there is a big problem. They need to be independent, and they need to move out of that place. Secondly, the complaints committee, of course, was not constituted at the SGM. And so going to the same board to cry about members being put in and out is really not the way to go. So there's an anomaly in that. Another thing I want to say is that we have a presidential candidate here, who was the Secretary General. If you look at the list of all those football clubs and all those registered members who are going to vote, who are going to be voters, he prepared this list of he was the Secretary General, so he knows all the people he had put in there. So after putting all the list of players, football clubs, and chairmen, and then you resign and come and say that now you want to be
Just
a presidential candidate. Let me tell you one thing. It's still about the board. It's still about the board. So you prepare the list, then you resign, come and sit here and say, I want to be the presidential candidate, and yet you already know all the people you had shortlisted. The board cannot allow such people to be candidates. The board, if we are following the rules and regulations as put by the Federation and FIFA statutes, the candidates also here need to, there are issues even with the candidates as we sit over here. Are they really part of, did they fit the criteria? That is the $1 million question.
So
okay?
the question I want to ask is, there are elected officials from the regions who are in office as we speak, because there's no vacuum. Let's move away from that.
That is not in the rules and regulations. It
Okay,
is
now,
not there.
For the 18,
remember, to sit here as a member, you must be brought by what? By a club.
By a club.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you resign, and then what club will sponsor you to come to sit here? What I'm saying is this: how are you the Secretary General of a federation? You prepare the list of all the delegates, and then you resign and come and sit here, and you want to be the president, and the board clears you. Is that fair?
Cleo, una imani na bodi ya uchaguzi?
Asante sana. Kwangu nitasema kwamba bodi ya uchaguzi kwanza ndawapatia kongole kwa kunikilia mimi kuhakikisha niko katika race. Because walifanya vizuri sana kuhakikisha wamenikilia. But shida yangu kubwa kabisa ni vile ndugu yangu ameongea, ndugu yetu Bari pia amekuja pia na contest. But shida kubwa kabisa ile niko nayo kabisa, mnasema tusitaje watu wale wako hapa na wakuji, mkoita wakuji. Kama Nick Mwenda mmemuita hajakuja. Sasa tunajuaje kama amekoroga ile uganga yao kule katika federation? Tunajua Uganga wamekoroga kule, sababu Bari tuko naye hapa. Wale wakuja hata mkoita namna gani. Na kila siku hiyo board nimefanya kazi mzuri, itawaharibia jina. Kama chairman ako hapa, hiyo board itawaharibia jina, itawaharibia sifa. Kwa sababu watu wametolewa. Kule Mombasa kuna kijana Salim ametolewa. Wametoa watu. Wamejaribu kuacha wale watu ambao ni wao. Na mimi nawaambia kwamba hiyo sio haki. Kwa sababu ni vizuri wangekuwa neutral. Na kama chairman anasikia katika hii TV, akilie watu wote, watu waende tafute kura. Ule mtu ataanguka anguke. Lakini kwa sababu hiyo board inakaa pale kwa Kandanda House, Nick Mwendo kila siku anaangalia hapo na Petra wanaangalia kila siku. Right, tuone kama kuna haki, na tunaomba hivi tafadhali katika hii TV, waziri wa michezo tunamuomba tafadhali make sure ametoa hiyo board hapo, amepeleka mahali pengine, ama watafuta watu wengine ambao ni wa haki. Kwa sababu tusema hivyo ni hivi, hatutakubali hii kura watu kutuchezea shere kila wakati. Tumejua mchezo wanaipanga na wameipanga. Imagine president, tuseme President Ruto amechukua ameweka board hapo kwake kwa mlango. Kutakuwa na fairness aina gani?
Okay. One common thing I've heard from, one common thing I'm hearing here, Barry.
I've been adversely mentioned. I don't know.
Okay, Barry, you haven't spoken about the board as you replied.
Yes.
Quickly, yes. Because we would like to, we have a very short time remaining. So Barry on this.
So first is my issues being GS of FKF. I think it's, I don't want to say Sam is lying, but it's inaccurate to say that I prepared the list of delegates. I mean, Wahome, I've seen you in the stadium. Robinson, I've seen you. You know the chairman of Gor Mahia. You know the chairman of Kakamega Homeboyz. I cannot prepare that list. That list is known by the football stakeholders. What I did is that I collected raw data as a list. I gave it to the board. The board published. Members of the public and football stakeholders questioned those names. It was rectified and it was put up. Secondly, when it comes to the integrity of the board, I think that without personalizing, there were people that were there during Congress. And what I remember, I think there's that footage online that can be checked after, is that the board and the code was passed unanimously. And the code says that the FKF electoral board shall be housed at Kandanda House. Someone might have raised an issue that maybe this is not right. It's not right that when you're given a platform to come and raise issues, you don't, and then during a debate, you raise them. So I believe in the integrity of the 4 gentlemen and the lady that are currently at the board. There will be teething problems. I am not at liberty to speak on behalf of the board, but up to now, I've not experienced an issue with the board personally.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you've had from across.
If you allow me, so because Barry is big on facts. Barry is big on facts on the issue of the code. We passed that electoral code, I agree. But it also says that the board has the discretion to choose where they can operate from, and even appointing IBC.
That's good.
So
that
he
is,
has not
okay,
said
that's answered, and he's in agreement with it.
And that's why we're putting pressure for them to move
thank you
out
very
of
much,
Kandanda House.
Hussein. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we take the last set of questions from Elijah?
Let's go to Abula first.
Oh.
Okay.
Bila shaka maswali ni mengi, mambo ni mengi kama wanavyosema, muda ndo hakuna. Na pia tumetoa fursa kwa watu ambao wanafuatilia kutuma maswali yao. Kuna swali kutoka kwa barua pepe, email address ya Andrea Cheza Sports Academy kuhusiana na soka ya wanawake nchini. Anasema there's a huge gap in the women football. What amendments will be made so that we bridge the gap between ideology and implementation? Elijah, kwako nadhani swali hili litajibiwa kupitia kwako.
Right, tackles are flying left, right, and center. Pure entertainment here. I hope the gentlemen, once they get into power, will give us the same entertainment on the football pitches. We do have Ian here. Ian?
I have a question. My question is on, my name is Ian Muyumba. I'm a football stakeholder. My question is on grassroots football development. I think two candidates have mentioned that they will send money to the branches. I'd like to understand how that will be done, how much it costs, and how efficient is it. And also, I'd like to understand from the other candidates what they will do in terms of grassroots football development. Then just out of curiosity, I'd like to know the esteemed chairman of Homeboyz, his mastery of the English language or otherwise, and if it will affect our relations with CAF and FIFA.
Swahili is the national language. The language, there are 4 languages allowed in the country. There is Braille Sign Language, English, and Swahili. So we are there. So straight, a minute each for each and every one of you gentlemen. I'll time this. First one, women's football. I'll start with you, Alila.
Yeah, Yeah, I think women football has done us great in this country. I think it's the first time that the under-17 has represented us in World Cup in Dominican Republic. As I said, on answering also his question on grassroots football is the engine of bringing civility in football in this country. It has to be done at the base. As I said, varying our constitution and implementing to allow the schools and primary schools, and also allowing the sub-branches. And as we talk here, players are the most integral part of what we are talking about here. Mm-hmm. And the way our elections are, you can see they're not fully represented in electing us. It's 92 people, I think. So that will also vary the base to give players more impetus to be electing us once these constitutional amendments are done.
Gentlemen, please, let's make it brief as we are almost coming to an end.
Okay. So, Sammyowinokempes, women's football, in a minute.
Women football is a very important part of our football, and I will take women football very seriously. We will create a lane for women football that is distinct and specifically controlled in its own. And I believe that women football are a tremendous opportunity in terms of bringing money and sponsorship because of its uniqueness. So I'm very hopeful about women football, and it needs to be taken seriously. In regards to grassroots football, I have, part of my vision is to have structures in every area of our football, whether it's youth football, whether it's coaching, and whether it's all those areas of our football. And my plan is to make sure that all those structures begin at the grassroots level. So the grassroots is going to be a big component of our infrastructure, and all the money we get at the national level, a percentage will go to the grassroots level.
All right. Shukran. Haya, Bwana Shimanyula. Yes. Kabumbu ya kinadada na kabumbu mashinani.
Kwangu ndio nimesema hawa wote naona mimi ndio bora kualiko kwa sababu niko na ile inaitwa Kakamega Starlet. Mimi ndio patron na Kakamega Starlet ile girls, na tumeunda urafiki na mashule zote kule ndani kutafuta talanta. Kwa hivyo mimi nasema kwangu nikichaguliwa, ambaye naona mtanichagua, nita make sure kwamba women football ndio tumeweka pesa mingi kwa sababu ina perform hata kuliko ya wanaume. Na mimi nimesema tutaanzia kule grassroots. Kwa sababu niseme hivyo ni kwamba umeona hata hivi majuzi World Cup, tunaona timu yetu ya kinadada ilifika, na tunataka tutelezeka katika categories. Kutakuwa na ile under 13, under 15, under 17 mpaka under 20. So mimi kwangu nitahakikisha kwamba tutaunda timu ambayo ni bora zaidi ya wanawake, kwa sababu ukiangalia hata timu kama Tanzania, ukiangalia kama hizi timu za nje zote zinachukua watoto wetu kutoka hapa, na hao watoto wamekuwa na shida sana katika hii federation. Imekuwa huwa wanakunywa tu soda na mkate. Mimi nitahakikisha kwamba wanapata mshahara wao vizuri na wanapata malezi vizuri na wanahakikisha wamekaa sawa.
Shukran sana. Now, on to you, Hussein, grassroots football and women's football. You've got a minute for that.
Thank you. I think on the issue of women football, it's undoubtedly the fastest growing sports, rather department within football. If you look at worldwide today, all over the world, there's a lot of emphasis on women football. It must be the same here. We have a lot of partners, especially development partners, who have a lot of resources, and they can put it into women football, but they just don't have the right avenue. They don't trust the current administration, and that's why the money is not coming in. We need first to show that we have a clear vision, a clear path to developing women football. They have unique challenges, they have unique requirements, and we need to be able to identify the right partners for women football so that it can grow. So we'll put all efforts to bring the right partnerships on board, get them to also play on the same level like the men football. On the issue, the second issue of grassroots football, I don't think anybody on this panel can hold a candle to what we've done over the last 20 years in grassroots football. With extreme sports, everybody knows. Even my brother Barry here is a product of extreme sports, by the way. From the
Okay, so over to you, Barry. Barry, the next minute is yours, and then after that, the next minute belongs to
Ochoa. 1 minute each, then
okay.
We'll
Thank
be
you. I
wrapping
think,
up.
yeah, it's true. I was part of extreme sports. The reason I left is that in 2017, the top scorer was a retired FKFPL gentleman from Kawangware. I don't want to mention his name. He was behind his playing date. So let's move to the issue of women football. I think football should be developed holistically. Today, if you go and do a quick Google search on the MVP of the 2024, you'll find that FIFA and Google have worked to bring all 2 candidates. In the past, it was just 1 player. So now you'll get the current Women Football of the Year and the current Men's Football of the Year. So we should not look at football and then women football. What we are saying that we want to develop football beyond the pitch is that it's an holistic approach that will ensure that both our boys and girls get an equal opportunity to showcase their talent and commercialize them. Thank you.
All right.
Ochola? Yes.
Women's football and grassroots football.
Women football. I think the federation always gets money from FIFA to develop women football. Totoya says he has a football team, so does Gor. We have Gor Mahia Queens. We experience working with women football every day. Apparently, we do not get any funding for this. We know that there is funding from FIFA, but I know there is no cent we get for this women's football. So what I intend to do is make sure that all that FIFA forward development for women football, itafikia all the women wherever they are. We're going to develop them from the grassroots, and we are going to be very transparent about it, because the people who are speaking here who are in the office have never spent a cent on all the women leagues. Kazi yao tu ni just empty talk. And so we need to change that.
Of course, thank you very much on that. Abula, anything else you have?
Naam, kuna swali hapa kutoka kwa Jacob Gosmule, tafadhali.
Thank you, everybody. First of all, let me just come from a point that I think before we started this, we should have given a minute of silence for the late Oschino duo, because this is a football forum, and I think we need to respect that. So can I please get 1 minute of silence for honoring Oschino duo, please? Can we stand up and have a minute of silence? We may be seated, thank you. I want to thank all the presidential aspirants for turning up and showing what you can do for us. And at this stage also, I want to really thank the outgoing FKF and Nick and Barry. We qualified for Under-17 World Cup. It's a big achievement. Under-20 African Cup of Nations 2025, we are there. It's a massive achievement. And also to say, when I went back as a national coach, I think that was the best treatment as a coach, and pushing the team to another level. Now, coming to this, and also let me appreciate Mariga. I want to salute you, having won the Champions League. This is a big plus, huh? Having said all this, I think I've listened to all the aspirants, and everybody has his own way of doing things. However, I think we have forgotten one very important aspect of football. We have 2 departments of football. We have the technical and we have the administration. And these are the guys who make the coaches, the referees, the players succeed. And I think we have forgotten that this area has not been touched. I'm talking here on behalf of coaches who have worked with the federation, have not been paid, myself included. And Abari, we had meetings together. I'm talking about referees who are officiating 7 games in the Kenya Premier League today, have not been paid a cent. If I'm wrong, Barry, you can correct me. Okay? And these are the custodians of our football. When we sit back there and talk, and not talk about the real people of football, we are not helping this country move anywhere. Because you can sit there, come with your policies. But if the player, the referee, the medics, okay, the administrators, we have some coaches who have coached some coaches who have not been paid. Are we together? There are many disgruntled people who are watching this on TV today, but they are wondering, what are we talking about our football going to the next level without involving the key players? So I would like, as the aspirants go through their policies, as you do your things, let us respect the player, let us respect the coach, let us respect the referees, because those are the important people to take our game to the next level. Otherwise, if we sit back here and talk until tomorrow, and these guys are not really taken care of, we are just talking without moving forward.
All right.
The last point, which is very important,
Coach,
our youth football, please. Thank you.
Coach Ghost, sorry.
Thank you very much.
Sorry. Maybe members of the audience, I know you may not be happy, but remember that this broadcast is also timed, and so we've restrictions from KTN, NTV, K24, and KBC as to how far we can go. And so, as we come to a close, and every one of you will have 30 seconds to make your final pitch before we move on to the next two debates as we wind up this. Tutaanza na ndugu Shimanyula. Tuanze nani? Tukifunga.
Kwangu ndasema delegates wote ambao wanaangalia, mimi nina ujuzi wa kutosha na mmeona nimerun team kufuatia kutoka kwa mfuko wangu, timu ya community. Nimehakikisha niko na timu ya boys na girls. Na pia mimi ni mfanyabiashara hatari sana. Kampuni zangu hazijaienda chini under receivership. So kwa hawa wote naomba wale delegates wako huko, tafadhalini, hii kura sasa ni toto na tua. Asante.
Safi. Bwana Sammyowinokempes, ulianza kwa lugha ya Kiswahili, funga kwa lugha ya Kiswahili tafadhali.
Nitaongea kwa Kizungu tafadhali. Sio sawa. Yeah, unajua our football is we talk about our football and we have this conversation and we're in really bad shape. And for many years we go through this process, and then when it's all said and done, 20 years later we have problems with our football. This time around, you do have a real choice, and the choice of somebody who actually understands football, wants to make football better, has a vision for football here that can really improve our football in this country. So I hope that you think through this process and make the right choice.
All right. Yes, Alila, as we wrap up, your words.
30 seconds, please.
Governance, number one. All that we keep on talking about, I think I'm the right person who should be able to lead football in Kenya in terms of experience, and having served as a NEC member. And also, the government is one of the biggest sponsors in football in this country. We are supposed to be holding two big tournaments, I think starting in February, Chan, and there's AFCON coming in. It needs a proper administrator. As I said, FKF is a regulator. FKF is not supposed, even what the coach is talking about, coaches, referees are all part of these governance issues. Once they are sorted out, things will go on as we go. So things will go on very well. We can keep on talking ABCD, but yes, governance number one, number two governance, number three.
Let's move to Saif.
Thank you very much. I think the only way to get out of this rot is to commercialize football. Football must stop being an extracurricular activity. It must be a commercial venture moving forward. And the only way we can do that is bringing the right people on board. And I promise the people of Kenya, all of you, because you are part of the ecosystem of football, the entire 55 million, that we will have space for KPL teams, NSL, and all the other national leagues. We will have a place for grassroots football to flourish. And we will do that by commercializing the sport, and we will focus on building infrastructure in the right places, and we will focus on building capacity. We will focus on bringing back integrity into the sport and bringing in the right partnerships that will make sure that this game flourishes. Mariga, McDonald, Mariga, and I, and the rest of the team will make it happen for you.
Barry, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the applause. So what we are basically doing is that we are offering ourselves for a job, yeah? And when you apply for a job, Robinson and the delegates that are listening, it's not normally for the most qualified. It's for the most suitable. And I've been at FKF for 5 years. I understand the challenges that clubs go through. We believe that by developing football beyond the pitch, we need to involve clubs more in the administration of the game. We need to empower FKF branches. We need to have a clear pathway for our youth, both boys and girls, and we need to capacity build our people so that we develop a football brand. So my ask is that on 7th, when delegates come to vote, Please vote for Barry Otieno and Lucy Kageni. Thank you so much.
Finally,
Ochola, Sam Ochola. Delegates, you're only 92, and the choice is yours. I am the SG of the biggest club in Kenya, Gor Mahia Football Club, managed very well, doing a lot of good things. We have a very good bank account at the moment because we manage our money very well as a football club. Na nataka kuambia, nyinyi 92 delegates, mukichagua any of the former office bearers wa FKF, do not blame Kenyans for bad football, do not blame Kenyans for football that will not take us anywhere. We are already out of the CAF tournament, muna Harambee Stars na huyo coach wetu vile amefanya, na hizi ni vitu, one of our candidates here was part of it throughout. I want to tell you, change the federation 100%. You are 92 people, musisikize story ya wazee. Let us go to the ground and choose the best candidate, and that's me. Thank you very much.
thank you very much, Sam Ochola. Of course, thank you very much, Hussein Mohammed, Tom Alila, Barry Otieno, Sammy Kempes, OWINO, Ochola, and of course, Cleo Shimanyula, for getting time to come and tell Kenyans and the whole world why you are the right person to lead Kenyan football. Tunashukuru sana. And of course, this is not the first and only presidential debate and town hall. We will be looking forward to many more to come before the elections are held on the 7th of December.
All right, and also thank you very much to our audience that is here right here at the back. Thank you very much for your questions. You have made this production possible. And my name is Daniel Wahome. On behalf of my colleagues, Robinson Okenye, Elijah Ouko, and Abula Ahmed, I want to say thank you very much for being with us on KBC Channel 1, KTN, NTV, and K24. Have a good evening.